चाहे जो तुम्हें पूरे दिल से मिलता है वो मुश्किल से.
He took a sip of his drink as he leaned on the sofa, spreading his legs, an cold expression lingering on his face as he gulped the drink in one go before looking back. He closed his eyes. "Come, Mr. John, let's dance." "Would you like to dance with me, Mr. John?" the girl asked as he opened his eyes and shot a sharp glare to her. "May I?" she asked, extending her hand. He looked at her hand and then her. He got up and walked from there while the girl looked at him confused and sighed. "Nothing changed," she murmured. He leaned on his car as he lighted up his cigarette before puffing and looked at Moon. He closed his eyes, puffing the cigarette. "Where are you?" he murmured as a cold tear slid down from his eyes. He opened his eyes slowly and jerked the tear away from his eyes with the index finger. "Mr. John, don't call me that." He cuts off her as he glared at her and she rolled her eyes. "Fine, sir, please don't smoke. It's not good for your health," she said, and he glared at her. "Don't try to act like my wife. Did you get that?" She rolled her eyes. "I'm not trying to be one. I'm saying as your well-wisher," she said, and he looked away puffing. "If she was here, you would be saying the same thing to her, huh?" Jungkook stopped as he glared at her. "Who told you to bring her in this? It's none of your business. Mind your business and go. For God's sake, stop stalking me," he coldly said, and she sighed. "I don't have any interest either. I'm just doing my duty. Don't ruin yourself like this or you will," she asked, and he just stared at her for a while. "I'm sure she won't like if she's in this condition. She made me this," he blurted out, and she stared at him. "I'm never forgiving her for this," he said, and she sighed. "Fine. Then can you change the fact that you still love her? That's why you're hurting yourself," she said, and his gaze started to shimmer. "Think about your babies. Can you be an idle father like this?" His tears dropped as lips trembled with pain. "At least think about them. Once in a life you have to face them," she said, a sob left from his mouth unknowingly. "She took them away from me. I don't even know how they are. I don't know anything about them." His words started and Melissa walked near him. "Don't worry, you will meet them soon. We are trying our best." He looked at her with red-teary eyes. 2 years. It's been more than 2 years, Melissa. And she didn't even bother to tell me about their birth," he said with anger and pain. "Ask yourself why she didn't," she blurted out, and he threw the cigarette on the floor angrily as she watched him. "Yes, all my fault. My fault only. Happy? Now just leave me alone." She shook her head. "It's not like I don't want to talk. Just leave me alone, Melissa," he said as he opened his car door. "So please don't drive. You are drunk," she said, and he jerked her away. "Just leave me alone," he said and drove away while she brushed her finger through her hair. As her phone rang and she attended. "I don't want to do this anymore, Mr. Kim." She didn't even let him speak. "What happened?" "He's ruining himself, so just let him. Because he doesn't want to listen to anyone, and I can't bear this just sake of some money," she said. "Melissa, listen. I'm not a lion, Mr. Kim, that I can control him," she said, being frustrated, and he sighed from other side. "Where is he?" he asked. "I don't know," she replied. "You can find him because he's drunk and driving. I'm not going to take responsibility," she said. "Okay, I'll do something. I'll send car for you." "No need," she said as she cuts off the call and exhaled furiously. She was making breakfast when she felt a grip on her dress, and she looked, and her eyes widened, and he looked at her with his doe eyes. "Baby, when you got up," she said as he spread his small arms and he gestured with his little finger to pick him up. "Oma," he said in baby voice, blinking in his eyes, and one smile looking at his 2-year-old son. Cute gesture to pick him up. She chuckled as she picked him up in her arms and kissed his cheeks. he said in a wistful voice, and she knelt by her and gesture she kissed his cheek. Good morning, my baby, she said, hugging tightly. He said in sleepy voice, and she made office. Yes, baby, ready, she said as she broke the hug and looked at him smiling. Where is Nene? She asked, and he pointed at the room with his innocent face. Is she also up? He nodded and she frowned. Let's see what Nene is doing, she said as she walked. Baby, she said, opening the door, smiling, looking for her 2-year daughter. But her smile slowly faded as she watched her tilting her head, and she was playing with his frame, and tears fell in her eyes. But she smiled as she walked and sits on the bed before putting her on her lap. She didn't look up and tilted her head to see her. Baby, she softly approached her and she looked at her with her voice. Appa, she said, and while smiling, she nodded. Yes, Appa, she said, holding her tears back. Seol hugged his frame and mind felt a sting pain in her chest looking at his daughter. Seol, baby, you wish good morning to Appa, she said, holding her tears. She said, and she smiled, hugging her as she looked at Changsu, who is playing with her his fingers. Changsu, you wished good morning to Appa, she asked, and he looked at her with his eyes and shook his head. Do it now, she softly said. He said, making her chuckle with tears. Changsu, baby, Appa, she said as he looked at her innocently. She smiled slightly as she hugged both of them. Oh, Appa loves you, both are lifelines, she said as Jungsu and Seol hugged her back. She chuckled as she kissed him. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, my babies. As they walked in, and 3 of them looked at them. Oh, I want to hug too. Hug me too, Seol and Jungsu, she said. Yes, me too. Tata, he ran to him, and Sam giggled and hugged him. Yes, my boy. He picked him up. While Seol just sat there in Ryan's lap only, as Alicia tilted her head to see her as she was clutching her tightly. Mama's princess, come. She approached her, and Ryan smiled. Appa's princess. She corrected, and Alicia smiled as she picked her up in her arms. Yes, true, Appa's girl, she said, pinching her cheeks while she just watched her. She spent most of the time with Jungkook's friend, she said, and Ryan nodded. She loves him a lot, she said. She learned this from her amma, she said. Her smile faded slowly but again maintained. Jungsu started to call him Mr. John. Teach him, he doesn't listen to me, Alicia chuckled. He also learned this from his Oma. Hey Jungsu. She looked down, smiling, and looked at her. I prepared breakfast for them, so just feed them. Till then, I'll get ready for office, she said. Sure, why not? He said. I took a day off tomorrow, so I can spend some time with them, she said, looking at her both of her kids. You should do it often. They miss you a lot. I nodded. I know, but my babies understand Mama's situation, she said, and Alicia smiled. Agreed. Okay, let's have breakfast, kids. Jungsu giggled and clapped while she smiled, looking at him. On the other hand, she feels a little sad for Seol because she barely plays like Jungsu, and she wants either her mother or either her father's photo to play with. They walked as one inside and took Jungkook's frame, roaming her fingers on it as she kissed it softly. Unknowingly, a tear slid down from her eyes. Day 913 of missing you, she murmured. Yes, I'm doing well. Our baby's doing well, and we hope you are doing well too, she muttered. The decision was hard, but living with it more hard, she said, and she sighed and wiped her tears away. Your babies loves you, but sure loves you a little extra, she said. I want them to see you in physical. I want you to hold your babies in your arms, but I'm not sure about it that you will accept or not, since I didn't tell you about my pregnancy. I don't know you will trust me or not, she mumbled with heavy throat. Mr. John, you're really doing well in your career. I always watch your every interview. You proved, man. You really achieved the milestone. I'm really happy that my sacrifice worked. You achieved that success which you always craved for, she said with tears. What should I do with this success when I don't have them with me? He said on the inside. But this is what you wanted, Jungkook. Now you are not happy with this as well. You couldn't stand with it for a long time if you didn't value it. Jungkook closed his eyes. You have flight today, so please. He looked at him. This cost me a lot, Hyung. Everything it's costed. He said with his broke voice. I know, he said, and Jungkook closed his eyes. Will this success get me my family back? He said, and Taehyung looked at him helpless. Might be or might not be, he said, and Jungkook shut his eyes. And I think whatever happened, it made you realize the value. He looked at him. Ask yourself, if I told you that she was pregnant, what will you do? Jungkook looked away. And I'm sure she must be doing their upbringing very well, he said as his tears slid as he made face. She might tell them about you. She didn't, I'm sure, he said, and Taehyung watched him. And why she should? She brought them in this world. I just tried not to let them come in this world. And for that, I'm not mad at her. I respect her for that, but his voice break. She could have talked to me, he said, and he closed his eyes. For once, he muttered, and Taehyung patted his shoulder. Hyung, because of me, she broke her ties with everyone, even her family. Did she hate me that much? He whispers. Her mother, her father craved to see her, but at least she could have contacted them. It's not me, he said. We don't know her situation, Jungkook. We can't judge because she's taking care of your two toddlers alone. It must be hard. Jungkook nodded. I hope she's doing well, he muttered, and Taehyung hugged him. I ended up being the worst father for my kids. They must hate me, he whispered, and Taehyung patted his back. Don't think like that. Trust Ryan, he sobbed. I'm hating and loving her at the same time, Young. I don't know that if I ever able to see her again. She kept running from me, he mumbled. If you want to meet her, be a gentleman again, Jungkook. She will get hurt if she gets to know about your bad habits. Don't kill yourself, he replied as he closed his eyes. If I meet her, I'll leave everything. Till then, these are the reason of my survival. It eases my pain. When it becomes unbearable, he whispered. So, she said, coming inside as they broke the hug while Jungkook wiped his tears. We have to leave for the airport today, she formally said, and Taehyung nodded as her eyes shifted on Jungkook. Surgeon, she asked, and Jungkook nodded. Coming, he whispered, and she smiled. I'll take tomorrow's flight. Till then, take care of him, he said, and Melissa nodded, but I'm not a kid, Hyung. I can take care of myself. He got soft as she sighed. Yeah, I know you are father of two kids. Now happy? Melissa chuckled slightly while he just watched him. This business trip is really important for you and will be life changing. Did you get that? He nodded. All the best, bro. Will you be taking charge for the upcoming client meeting, Ryan? He asked, and she looked at him. But Bran, you can do it, she sighed. On a very short notice, that's why I'm asking you, he said, and I looked at him. When? She asked. Tomorrow, she bit her lip. I can do it, Bran. I'm on leave tomorrow, she said, apologizing. Oh, Ryan, can you cancel leave for tomorrow? Because it's really important everyone to be in office, he said. But Bran, you can do one thing. Take half day until client is here, he said, approaching her. I never say this to you, Ryan, but it's really important, she said. Okay. Thank you so much. And she just forced herself to smile. Anyone else who can take charge for tomorrow? He asked, and there are so many While Vine looked down as her phone rings and she got up, catching Brian's attention. Excuse me, Brian, it's an urgent call. He nodded and she walked out. She's a really hard-working lady, he muttered, and implies looking at her disappearing figure. She is, she muttered, being proud friend. Oma Chungchu got hurt, he said, crying as showed her his elbow, and Mine looked at him worried. How, my baby? She asked in concern. Chungchu was learning Oma, he fall. He explained cutely while she got worried looking at him crying. Baby, don't cry, Oma is coming, she said, and Sam picked him in his arms. Nothing to worry, Vine. It's just a small wound, he said, and Vine looked concerned. But it's hurting him, Sam. He's crying. Sam looked at Chunks. He's my strong boy, and strong boy doesn't cry like girl, right, baby? Sam, don't teach him wrong, she corrected him as Sam frowned. Did I say anything wrong? He asked. Of course you did. If it's hurting him, he will cry, right? What is this you saying? She chuckled slightly. Oh, okay, got it, he says, smiling. Junks, baby, Mama will come soon, okay? Just wait a bit, baby, she said softly, and he kissed the phone screen, and she smiled. Okay, Mama, he said, wiping his tears, and she smiled. It's wrong, baby. He was looking outside of window as Melissa eyed on him, then sighed, and Jungkook speaks. Stop, he said as she looked at him, as well as driver pulling brakes. So, she asked, and Jungkook got off from the car, as she does too. So, she stopped him and she's about to walk. I'll be back, please you can go, he blurted out. But sir, how can I, leaving you here alone? She asked. I'm not kid, Melissa, that you need to babysit me, he rudely said, and she glanced face. Just go, he said, and she walked while she closed her eyes, controlling her anger, building in. Sol, baby, you'll eat chocolate? He asked her softly, and she just stared him with two eyes as she looked down, and he smiled. Okay, I'll buy this for you. He took the chocolate, but she didn't react. That the car, he excitedly said as his gaze shifted to him. Which one, baby? He pointed his little finger. That one, Dada, he said, and Sam looked at him as he put both of them down. Don't move, baby, he said, and Jungsu nodded multiple times, giggling and clapping, while Seol looked here and there with her doe eyes, and when her eyes landed on the tall figure, who was looking for something as she walked to him with her little legs, well, Samson noticed he was busy with Jungsu. Jungkook took other walks and shook his head, being frustrated, when he felt a grip on his leg as he looked down, and that little girl looked at him with her two eyes, and he looked here and there than her. Yes, he asked, and she pointed at something, and Jungkook looked at. Jungkook was frustrated, but his gaze softened looking at her, and the tears which he was holding slid down as he removed his mask, and Seol's eyes lightened up as a smile crept on her face, and she hugged his leg, and what she next said made Jungkook froze at his place. Apache hugged his leg tightly, while Jungkook felt a bunch of emotion burst into him as he looked at her teary eyes, and she broke the hug as she spread her arms and gestured him to pick her, smiling widely. Tears slid down from his eyes as he went on his knees and his body started to shake. Yes, baby, his words came out like whisper. As soon as he knelt down, she hugged him, wrapping her little arms around his neck, while Jungkook closed his eyes, feeling a lot of emotion as his hands automatically wrapped around her tiny figure and his lips started to tremble. He also doesn't know why he's feeling like that. Jungkook closed his eyes as he sniffed, as he smiled, as he broke the hug and looked at her. Where's your mama, baby? He asked her softly. She said, and he couldn't understand but smiled. Shell kissed his cheek and hugged him again. His chest stiffened as he took her in his arms and got her. You are cute, he said, pinching her cheeks, and she clapped, giggling, making him smile. Jungkook took a chocolate from Shell as he extended to her and Seol giggled. Thank you, Appa. But his eyes landed on another toddler who is staring them looking at him with his toys. Is your brother? He asked and they really look alike. While Seol is busy in playing with chocolate as Jungkook walked to him and feasted his hand with his tiny hands and looked at him. Nini, he said in front. She said giggling and Jungkook smiled slightly. Jungkook's smile faded slowly. He said cutely and he smiled again. Jungkook took out one more as he went on his knees before putting Seol down and extended to him. Here, baby, he said softly as Jungkook took it, and all of a sudden he hugged him. He smiled and Seol hugged him too, while he closed his eyes, hugging them, and tears dropped from his eyes uncontrollably. Jungkook, he said, and Jungkook quickly looked at him. Dada, he ran to him as Jungkook quickly wiped his tear and his mask back. Sam picked Jungkook in his arms while Seol didn't leave him. As Sam looked at her, that how protectively she is holding him, that no one should separate her from him. Seol, baby, come, he asked softly, and she shook her head as Jungkook looked at him. Sam looked at him, a little serious expression. Actually, I didn't know when they ran. I was on call. He said, and Jungkook got up, taking Seol in his arms. Should be careful. They are your kids. How can you leave them alone? He said with serious expression, and Sam sighed and no. Seol, baby, come. Mama must be waiting for you. He approached her softly, but she hugged Jungkook aggressively, and Jungkook rocked her back. Baby, Appa is calling you. He softly approached. No. She hugged him tightly, and his chest stiffened with heaviness. Jungkook looked at him, and Sam tilted his head to see her, but she's not ready to see him though. Okay, let's pay for your chocolate. I'm not leaving you, he softly muttered, gesturing Sam, and he nodded, being helpless. They walked to counter as Jungkook is about to pay, but Sam stopped him. I'll pay, he said, and Jungkook extended his card. They asked me. It's okay, he said, and Sam sighed heavily. My babies are also must be of their age, he murmured, and Sam frowned. Huh? He smiled under mask. Nothing, he said. He looked at Seol, who is hugging him like she didn't want to leave him and knows him really well. Jungkook smiled as he kissed her back as his gaze shifted to Jungkook, who is staring with his toys, and he passed him a wide warm smile. Baby, he tried to detach her, but she didn't help him because baby's grips are the tightest one. Seol, he tried to take her, but she jerked his hand. No, and hugged Jungkook tightly, and Jungkook closed his eyes as he felt the connection with them. What should I do? Seol is rarely stubborn, he mumbled. Where is their mother? He asked. She has work, he muttered. But I think I have to call her, she mumbled. Seol eats chocolate sitting on his lap as Jungkook just admired her while Jungkook extended his chocolate packet to him. Mr. John, open, he said, and Jungkook smiled as he took it. Come, he called him softly, patting his other side of his lap, and Jungkook pouted as he sat on his lap, playing with his fingers. Baby, who told you I'm Mr. John? He asked him softly, and he looked up. He cutely said, as his heart skipped a beat as he maintained his smile. You know me? He nodded innocently. What? He asked as he stood up on his lap as he kissed his cheeks and hugged him, and while his throat started to get heavy. He sat wrapping arms around his neck, tears welled up in his. Appa, she called him, and he looked at her as she spread her arms and blinked her eyes, cutely gesturing him to hug her. Jungkook took her too as he hugged her, both of them closing his eyes, and he pecked their head. God bless you both, he muttered. Jungkook broke the hug as he sat on his lap eating chocolate while Seol just hugging him, closing her eyes as he kissed her back. Sorry to bother you, their mother is coming, Jungkook nodded, wiping his tears. It's okay. You can go, I'll handle her, he said, and Jungkook eyed on Seol. It's okay, I'll be here until their mother comes. At least she won't cry. Sam sighed and nodded. Thanks. He passed a small smile. I think I have seen you somewhere, he muttered in Jungkook from me. He nodded as he tried to recognize him but couldn't. But then he heard Seol's mumbling. As he looked at her, she sleeping in his arms but continuously mumbling, Appa. Oh, I guess she slept now. It won't be a problem. You can go, he said, and Jungkook looked at him. His mind and heart is not allowing him to leave them. But Sam crouched as he took Seol in arms, but her hands were clutching his blazer tightly. Jungkook felt it. He felt fatherly connection with them, but Sam made her loosen her grip as he took her completely in his arms. Come, Jungsu, he said, spreading his arm, and Jungsu looked at Jungkook, and Jungkook passed him a warm smile. Go, he softly said, and Jungsu got up as he hugged him. Please meet us again, he softly said, and Jungkook smiled, hugging him back. Sure, baby, he said, and Jungsu broke the hug and kissed his cheeks. Bye, he said, waving him with his cute little hands, and Jungkook smiled, waving back. Bye. While a tear automatically slid down from his eye, Sam smiled as he pecked him carefully. Okay, bro, thanks, he said, and Jungkook just nodded as Sam walked in while Jungkook watched their disappearing figure. He can't take his eyes from Seol and Jungsu, who passed him a warm smile. His phone rang as he picked up, wiping his tears away. Oma, he excitedly called her as soon as he spotted her spine and rushed to him, and he ran in Wyan's arms. My baby, she muttered, hugging him, and he hugged her tightly. Wyan's eyes shifted to Seol, who is sleeping peacefully in Sam's arms, as she checked her. Is she okay while she is sleeping? She asked in concern, checking her. She is fine, he said, and she took relief. Give me, he said, and he nodded. Hey, Jam, come. He took him in his arms and Wyan took her in her arms and hugged her, and Sam smiled. She's so strange, Wyan, who doesn't go or sleep with people who she knows, except you. She slept in strangers' arms and not ready to leave him. Wyan kissed her forehead. She doesn't sleep so quick. That's why I asked how, she said, and Sam shrugged. Mr. Stranger's magic, he said, and Wyan looked at him. And Sam, how can you let anyone to play with them, huh? She coldly said, and he smiled. Relax, he was a nice guy. I won't let them to anyone like this. Wait, he's there. He stopped as he saw no one is there, as Wyan followed his gaze. I think he's gone, he mumbled, and she sighed as she looked at Jungsu. Maybe I told you right, don't talk to any stranger like this, she said to Jungkook, who was staring at him. You will disobey Amma, huh? She said, and he shook his head. No, Amma, it's Mr. John, he muttered, and while Wyan's heart dropped as she looked at Sam, who was adoring Jungsu's cuteness. Who is your Mr. John, Jam? He asked, and Jungsu looked at him before he could speak. Jungsu, baby, let's go home, she said, and Sam smiled. Yep, let's go home, then we will talk, he said, and Wyan took him. Thank you, Sam, I'll go now, it's really neat now, she said, and Sam frowned. Are you sure? She nodded. Okay, no worries, I'll just drop you home. Wyan shook her head. Alicia was waiting for you. You can go, I'll take them. She is about to walk alone, Wyan. She looked at him. I raised them alone, Sam. I know how to take care of them. Sam smiled. Okay, he said, and she kissed Jungsu and Seol's forehead. Bye, champ. Bye, Dada, he smiled. My boy, go safely and call me when you reach home. She nodded. Thank you, she said. Wyan kissed her head as Seol is sleeping peacefully while Jungsu is trying to sleep. But his eyes are constantly moving as Wyan noticed and smiled. Jungsu, she called him softly, and he opened his eyes, slowly looking at her with his two eyes. What happened, baby? She asked, kissing his cheeks. Uma, no sleep, he said, pouting, and she smiled as she pulled him on her chest. What happened, baby? She asked him softly and kissing his head. Uma Dada. Her smile slowly faded, but she smiled. Baby, he's not your Dada. Uma told you, right? He nodded. Vine took Jungkook's swings off the side table as she smiled and showed him. Son, he's your Dada, yeah, she said, and he just looked at her innocently. Uma is Mr. John, he mumbled, and she smiled before kissing his cheeks. If Appa listen you calling him Mr. John, he will scold Uma, she said, smiling, and he hugged her. Uma, Mr. John is goody goody, he muttered, and she chuckled. Yes, my baby, he is good, she muttered back. Uma, Jungkook and Nini miss you a lot, he muttered, and her smile dropped a little. I know, baby. She smiled and kissed his head. I love you too, baby. Brian, we'll get late. Please try to understand, she said in Brian's side. Brian, it's just for half an hour more. Our client is here, he said, and she looked at him. Yes, I understand, right, Brian. You told me to come, I did. Even I was on planned leave today. But you should consider my concern as well, don't you think? He said, insisting as he said. You can leave after half an hour. Please, I request you. He said, and Vine is about to say something, but he got a call, so he excused himself and left. While Vine massaged her head as someone put hand on her shoulder, as Vine looked, it's Anya, and she looked at her with concern. Are you okay? Vine was annoyed. Do you know where the clients are? She asked with annoyance in her tone. Well, they are here only. Actually, that the one who is the main client is in office only. Vine sighed. When they are leaving, not sure. She shrugged and Vine brushed her hair aggressively. I'm so done. Anya nodded. I know, even me too. She said as they both sighed. Come, let's grab the coffee. She nodded. Vine was having her coffee with her colleague as she noticed sadness on her face, and she tapped her hand to bring her back as she looked at her. What happened? She looked down. Nothing, I'm just worried, I promised them, she said, and smiled. You can leave, Vine, if you want. Your family first, she said, and Vine looked down. They will leave in few hours, especially one of the clients looks so arrogant, so maybe facing issue because of him only. She said in hindsight, I will wait for half an hour, then I will leave. She said, and shrugged. Your wish, she said, and Vine nodded as she looked time in her phone. While Anya noticed her wallpaper, she smiled. There are kids? She asked, and Vine smiled and nodded as Anya took her phone. They are twins, Vine nodded. Yes, they are cute and adorable, she said, and Vine smiled. Their features are so pretty than you, Vine. Are they on their father? Vine smiled slightly. They are. They're on their father mostly, she said, smiling. Is your husband? She asked, looking at photo with her, and he is wearing mask and looking at Vine, smiling. It's a collage of their kids and them. Vine smiled, feeling overwhelming. Nodded. Yes, in low voice. I've never seen you talking about your husband. Her smile slowly faded. He doesn't live with us. I mean, he has business in other country, she said as Anya noticed her expression changing. Are you not together anymore? She asked, and Vine looked at her with no answer. I mean, I'm just asking. You can answer if you don't feel uncomfortable. Are you not in good terms? Vine smiled, but there is a pain in her smile, and she shook her head. No, we were very good in terms. He's a really good person, but things didn't work out between us because of circumstances. Anya nodded. Doesn't he come for his kids? This time she literally has no answer. She felt like someone's hit her soft spot. I mean, a husband can be separated, not a father, she said, and Vine break eye contact looking down. He doesn't know. She blurted out and Anya's eyes widened. He doesn't know he has kids with you? Anne shook her head. Why you didn't tell him? She asked and Van looked at her. Situation was like that, she said in low voice. But my babies knows who their father is. I'm happy for it, she said and with a proud smile and Anya looked at her softly. As Anya got up and hugged her and Vine smiled as she wiped her tears. You're so strong, man, she muttered and Vine smiled. Thank you, she replied. Your action plans are so good, we genuinely would like to work with you all, she said as Fran noted as her gaze shifts to Jungkook, who was lost. Taehyung, she approached him as Jungkook looked up. Well, I trust you, Bran. We have a old relationship, he said with a full smile. Of course, Jungkook, he replied and Jungkook nodded. So, when we are signing the deal, he asked. Tomorrow, he cuts off her as Melissa looked at him. I'm a little busy today, Brian nodded, being confused. Okay, no issues. I'll take my leave, he said as he got up. But sir, he didn't listen as he walked away. Melissa closed her eyes while Brian looked at her disappearing figure. Is he okay? He asked while Melissa looked down. His whole meeting hall falls silent as he leaves, while Melissa dumbfounded. Mine rushed outside as she's getting late when her phone rings. Yes, Sam, she asked, attending the call. We're on your way, Ryan, to your office. We'll pick you, he said, and Ryan nodded. Okay, be fast. She cursed a girl inside. She sniffed something as she covered her nose. Who is smoking in office premises? She muttered, looking around. She walked a little as she spotted the figure who is back facing her, and her heart skipped a beat looking at the figure, which gave her intuition that it's a known figure, and she still approached him. Excuse me, it's prohibited to smoke in premises, she uttered as he turns. Her eyes got stuck while body got froze as Jungkook's gaze quickly turns soft from hard invested heart beats wildly. Jungkook's eyes teared up while Vine's heart and lips trembled with pain. Looking at her, his pain and everything got healed. It feels like he got his peace back. Fine, he mumbled, Jungkook, as he's about to move forward, but Oma, their 2-year-old son, came running towards her. Jungkook looked in his direction, and his eyes widened, tears fell in his eyes as Vine gestures to him. Jungkook, slow baby, he muttered, coming behind him. While Vine bent down to her knees, spreading her arms as he hugged her when Vine looked at Jungkook, who is looking at them shocked and emotional. I miss you, Oma, he mumbled. Oma, missed you more, baby, she muttered as she broke the hug and kissed her forehead. While Sam looked at them smiling, his Vine's gaze shifted to Seol, and she smiled at her with tears. Seol spread her little hands and Vine took her from Sam's arm. Oma, she mumbled, hugging her, and Vine kissed her head. My baby, she mumbled. When Jungkook's eyes shifts to the tall figure standing in front of them, who is emotional and he's too emotional to speak anything. Oma, he pointed at Jungkook as Sam also looked at him. While Vine's gaze shifts to him as her eyes are red and teary, and she knows Jungkook recognized him, but before he could say anything further, she speaks. Yes, baby. She didn't let him complete. Uncle baby, she said, gasping as her heartbeat was abnormal. She speaks as she knows that Jungkook doesn't know it's their kids. So, not to create any problem for him, she decided to act a complete stranger. Jungkook looked at her confused and Jungkook's heartbreak hearing this from her. Seol looked at Jungkook with her doe eyes as Jungkook looked both of them with tears while Seol hugged her mother instantly, not wanting to look at him. Oma, she mumbled while Vine gazed her back. Bro, you are here again, nice to meet you, he said while Jungkook's eyes fixed on Vine, looking at her with pain and hate and guilt. while Wine decided to break the eye contact. Jungsu, let's go, she said softly, and he nodded innocently. Kyamma, he replied. Dada, he spread his arms as Sam smiled and picked him. My baby, he mumbled while Jungkook's heart clenched. Shall we? He asked, and Wine nodded, gulping down the line. As they're about to walk, but Wine, he blurted out while Wine closed her eyes. She doesn't know how to face him. We need to talk, he blurted out, and Sam looked at him confused. Some other day, Mr. John. We need to go, she replied without looking back while his fingers curled up and freezed. Right now. He speaks with uneven breath. Wine looked at him with teary eyes, and her heart couldn't deny him as she handed Saul to Sam, not wanting to make eye contact because she couldn't stand under those stares who is looking at her with thousands of questions. I'll join you, take them, she said to Sam. While Sam didn't question further, as Jungsu and Seol looked at them innocently, and Jungkook gazed both of their head with his trembling hands, and Jungsu passed him a smile. While Seol looked at him like that she might cry at any time, so she hugged Sam tighter, closing her eyes. While Wayne watched him with unknown fear as Sam walked, and Jungsu waved at him, while Jungkook waved back with a smile. As soon as they disappeared from his sight, he looked back at Vine, hardening his gaze. He held her wrist as Vine watched him. Jungkook, she speaks, gasping, and he looked at her. I'm sorry in advance for what I'm going to do, he mumbles back. But you owe me this, he whispers, and her eyes teared up. She looked at him nervously while Jungkook gathered himself to confront her. As he looked up, wiping his tears, and Wine watched him being hurt. She tried to approach him, but he stopped her. As her strength stopped in midair, he looked at her with teary eyes. How you lived these years without me, huh? He blurted out, and she looked away. Did you miss me? He asked, and she pressed her lips together as tears filled in his eyes. Jungkook's breath is uneven as he pulled her in an aggressive hug, and Wine's breath hissed, but initially she closed her eyes, feeling his warmth after ages, and he hugged her tightly as if he leaves her, she will disappear from his sight. Wine slowly hugged him back as he sniffed badly against her neck, and her tears dropped. How do you feel after taking my kids away from me? He said with heavy throat, while Wine's heart dropped as she tried breaking the hug, but he didn't let her. Just how? He said with pain in his voice. As he broke the hug and connected his forehead with her while their lips trembled with pain as Wine closed her eyes, crying, Miss. For one mistake you punish me like this, Wine. You didn't think about me once. He questioned, and a sob left from her mouth, and she looked at him. I didn't have any option. She finally spoke as Jungkook let her to continue. I never wanted to, she whispered. You could have talked me once, can't you? He asked, and she closed her eyes. You know how hard it was for me. You know how I bear this pain alone. He said, and Wine put a hand on his. You're not alone, she whispered back. You think it was easy for me to leave you? She spoke, and Jungkook looked at her a little angrily with pain. If it wasn't easy for you, you would never leave me like that, he said, and she shook her head. You tried to hide your pregnancy and our babies, introducing me them as uncle. Do you think everything is joke, Ryan? She shook her head. I thought. He looked at her with teary eyes. What you thought? If I didn't know the truth, you would hide them forever? He asked, raising voice, and her breath hushed. Tell me, he asked while she looked down, crying helplessly. They're my babies too. I have rights on them. You never wanted them, she speaks, and Jungkook looked at her, breathing heavily with teary eyes. Remember that. You never wanted them, so I decided to raise them alone. I never wanted to get married. I never wanted to fall in love, but I did right. You are that part of that journey. Whispers. Mine looked at him, closing her eyes. It's true I didn't want to have babies, but it doesn't mean I would ask you to kill my own blood. You could have shared me once. Might be our lives can be different. he said. My babies won't grow without father's love. You gave me a regret for the life I am. And the thing I was always scared of, you made it true for me. He whispered and Vine closed her eyes. They're my babies too. As she looked at him with teary eyes. You can't just blame me, Jungkook, she said, and he wiped his tears away. Don't say that I didn't try to. I did. Ask yourself what you told me, that you gave me birth control pills without my knowledge, she said with so much pain, and Jungkook closed his eyes. I know it wasn't intentional, but still you hurted me, he said, and Jungkook looked at her, gulping his lump. So you think your decision was right of leaving me? He asked, and I looked down. I missed precious period of our life, Ryan. I never knew this feeling, but you never given me the chance to feel it, he said with broken voice as Ryan looked up with guilt in her eyes. She told me once I've tried to be a better human being. I've tried to be the best father to our kids. But his voice broke as he covered his face while crying. They were my babies too. How could you take such a big decision alone? He mumbled in crying voice as he went on his knees while crying. How could you? He cried helplessly as Ryan looked away crying, her head clenched looking at him as she knelt down to his level. She looked at him sniffing but initially pulled him in her embrace, kissing his back while Jungkook hugged her back, cried like a baby in her embrace. I hate you, Ryan. I hate you for doing this to me. I hate you for making me miserable, he mumbled while she closed her eyes, pulling him more close. I hate you, he cried, hugging her more tightly. Jungkook's steps halted as he stopped near the entrance as Vine looked back at him and approached him with a note, but his heart is so beating so fast as she held his hand and he looked at her. She passed an assuring smile with a note. She walked as he followed her. She opened the door and his heart started to beat more wildly. No, Oma, he stubbornly said, looking away as Alicia's and Sam's side. Baby, eat, please. Oma will come. No, no, no. Jungkook wants Oma. She promised me, he stubbornly said and sat beside Seol, hugging her. Man looked at Jungkook, whose eyes filled with tears as his grip tightened on hers, and she smiled. Jungsu, she called him. As he looked, and his eyes lightened up, spotting his mother as well as Seol's. As Alicia smiled, but her eyes landed on Jungkook as she looked at Ryan. Jungsu jumped from chair as Sam tried to hold him, but he rushed to his mother in excitement. Oma! He ran towards her and Vine crouched to his level, spreading her arms as he hugged her. Tightly, Vine closed her eyes, kissing his head. Oma, why you left us alone? He mumbled, sniffing innocently as she broke the hug and wiped his tears. Sorry, baby, she said softly, and Vine looked at Seol as she gestured her to come. She got down and walked to her and Vine kissed both of her dear cheeks as she looked at Jungkook, who was looking down with tears tightening his face as Jungkook followed his mother's gaze. Oma, he muttered softly as Vine looked at Jungkook. Baby Appa, she said softly as Jungkook looked at his mother then Jungkook. Mr. Jeon. Jungkook smiled with tears hearing him. No, baby Appa, she corrected him while Alicia smiled. Vine looked at Jungkook, gesturing him as Jungkook knelt down to their level. As soon as he knelt down, Jungkook hugged him. Pa, he said softly, and Vine's eyes filled with tears while Jungkook closed his eyes, hugging him back. My baby, he mumbled. Vine looked at Seol, who is innocently looking at Jungkook as she tilted her head. Seol, baby, now Appa is here. Won't you hug him? She asked softly, and Jungkook looked at Seol, and she gave him a grumpy look. Seol, your Appa is here now. What are you waiting for, baby? She asked. Jungkook broke the hug as Jungsu looked at her, and Jungkook tried to hold her hand, but she backed away, shaking her head, which made Jungkook smile to fade a little. No, she stubbornly said, and went from her. She pulled her closer. What happened, baby? She asked softly. Pa is bad. Appa left me, she stubbornly said in whisper voice, while Wine fought and Alicia raised brows. No, baby, don't say that, she said, and Jungkook looked at being hurt. Upper left shield, she said, and Sam chuckled. Oh god, she's saying about yesterday's incident when he met them and she was not ready to leave him. Man looked at Jungkook and Jungkook smiled as he wiped his tears. Jungkook held her little fingers gently before pulling her softly, and she still looked at him grumpy, and Jungkook rubbed her face and kissed her forehead. Sorry, my princess, Appa will never leave you alone. He said softly, and Xiao looked at him. From which she said, showing her little pinky finger, and they chuckled as well as Jungkook. Promise, he said, holding her little finger, and she hugged him. Jungkook. He closed his eyes. She said, and Jungkook looked at Ryan. I love you, she sang. She said, and he smiled. I love you too, baby. He mumbled as he kissed her head. Jungkook looked at Jungsu as he spread his one arm. Come, my prince, he said softly, and Jungsu giggled and hugged him as he hugged both of their babies and closed his eyes. He never imagined this feeling could be this much loving and overwhelming. He feels complete with them as he wanted to cry out loud of happiness but couldn't. Mine couldn't hold her tears back as dropped looking at the most beautiful scene ever, and she got up while Jungkook watched her. And Alicia stopped her as she looked at her and she was crying badly. Alicia gestured as she hugged her and she smiled. Well, Sam smiled looking at the most heartwarming scene. They broke the hug and Seol and Jungsu wiped Jungkook's tears as he smiled. He kissed both of their hands. Thank you, he whispered, and Jungkook looked at Ryan. Baby mama is crying, he whispered. Jungsu and Seol looked in Ryan's direction as Jungkook picked both of them in his arms and walked towards Ryan. Oma, they called her, and Ryan quickly wiped her tears. She looked at them smiling, and Jungkook gestured them as they wiped her tears and kissed her cheeks. And Jungkook smiled, and Alicia walked to Sam, let them having their family moment. And she put her head on Sam's chest, adoring them with tears. They are adorable, she mumbled, and Sam nodded. True. Upper your turn, Jungsu said as Vine looked at Jungkook nervously with pain. She looked down as she knows that he is still upset with her. As she clutched her dress tightly when she felt his soft lips on her forehead, and her tears slid down, and both of them clapped while giggling. And Vine looked at him with red, teary eyes, and they have a family hug. Thank you, he mumbled to Vine, and she looked down. Jungkook laughed as Seol sitting on his stomach and following her. Jungsu sits on his head, making him laugh as he also giggled. Jungsu, baby, what are you doing? He said while giggling, and Jungsu giggled. Jungkook pulled him from one hand as he giggled more, and Seol tickled Jungkook, making his eyes widen as she giggled while laughing. Oh, so you both want to play him? He said, and Jungkook licked both of them as he tickled them gently, and they laughed out loud while Jungkook giggled. While Ryan walked in as she frowned what is happening inside, why they both are laughing that too loudly. As she saw them playing with Jungkook, and she smiled, shaking her head. Much shivers, Jungkook said while giggling, and Ryan nodded. As she walked and tickled Jungkook, making him look at her. Come on quickly, she said as Jungkook and Seol as they attacked Jungkook, and she laughed as they both started tickling him, and Jungkook laughed holding his stomach. Baby, stop, my stomach is hurting, he said laughing as both of them stopped being tired and laid on Jungkook's top, and he smiled hugging them as they giggled looking at him. Appa, he said mischievously, smiling as he points at Spine, who is busy making meal for them. Jungkook asked in a note, and he nodded as they high-fived. Jungkook got up, correcting his thought as both of them giggled, while Vine stood straight as she frowned, looking at Seol and Jungkook, who was smiling mischievously. "Where is Appa?" she asked, and Jungkook pointed as she frowned, turning, while Jungkook locked the door successfully, and she frowned in confusion. Jungkook bit his lips, raising hers at them. They showed thumbs up with their little fingers, while she was too late to understand their mischief. Mr. John, no. Before she could complete, he started tickling her, while Seol and Jungkook laughed, laughing as Jungkook tickled her and Vine laughed. "Mr. John, please no," she said, laughing, and he giggled. "Please, Mr. John." As he stops and Vine held her stomach, glaring at him, and he looked at her with a satisfied smile. As he moved back, and he hit side table as Vine's eyes widened, and she quickly catched the frame which is about to fall, and took a relief. "Sorry," he said. "It's okay," she replied, nodding. As Vine cleaned it but hesitated to put back, but initially she put back the frame, and Jungkook looked at the frame but immediately looked at her as she avoided eye contact. "Take this. Drink this milk, baby," she said as she walked to them and Jungkook watched her. Seol and Jungkook quickly ran to her as both of them sat on her lap while Jungkook watched them. Jungkook took his bottle and rested his head on Vine's chest, while Seol took her bottle and got up. "Appa," she said, spreading her arms and gesturing him with her little fingers, and Vine smiled, looking at her. Jungkook smiled as he walked to her and sat on the bed before pulling her on his lap, and she hugged him while drinking milk, and he smiled and kissed her forehead. As he looked at Vine, who was adoring Seol, and they have an eye contact, but she looked away as she hugged Jungkook, kissing his forehead. Both of their eyes felt heavy after playing for hours, then food, as Vine stayed in her back while Jungkook was in half sleep. And Jungkook noticed as he took Seol in his arms carefully, just as Vine's, as she looked at him. He gestured her to hand Jungkook, and she nodded as she handed him, and he took both of them in his arms, rocking their back, so that they can sleep. "You can rest," he said, and Vine looked at him. "Sleep, I'm up," he assured her, and she nodded. "I'll take this in kitchen." She took the tray, and Jungkook looked at her unbelievable, as he couldn't do anything since both of their hands were busy, and she walked in kitchen. Jungkook made them lay on the bed carefully as he is about to walk, but his phone rings as he quickly picked, not wanting to disturb their sleep. "Yes, Jungkook," he asked in whisper. "Jungkook, where are you?" "Pick the video call," he angrily said as Jungkook picked. And before he could speak, Jungkook shushed him, and he smiled. Taehyung frowned, looking at his smile. "Seung," he whispers as he flipped the camera, where his two toddlers sleeping peacefully, and they look so cute while sleeping. Taehyung smiled faintly. "Are they?" He asked for the confirmation, and he nodded, smiling. "My baby's young." Taehyung covered his mouth in happiness. "They are so cute, Jungkook," he whispered, and Jungkook smiled. "Very adorable, Young," he whispered back. "I'm the luckiest man in the world," he said, and Taehyung smiled. "They are so precious." "How is Vine?" he asked, and he smiled. "She's good, Young," he said, and Taehyung smiled. "I want to meet them," Taehyung said, drooling over them, and Jungkook chuckled slightly. "Why not? Come, they are so cute. They're on Vine, Young, too adorable." Taehyung chuckled. "Your daughter is on you, I guess," he said, and Jungkook looked at Sam. "No, on mine only," Taehyung chuckled. "Well, I'm happy for you," he said, and Jungkook nodded. "Me too. Did you talk Vine?" he asked, and Jungkook looked down. "I have to talk to her," he said, and Taehyung said, "Go ahead, I'll call you later." He nodded. "Bye." He declined the call. Jungkook looked for Vine as he's about to get up, but he arranged pillow beside them as he's about to get up, but Chal feasted his finger, mumbling softly in sleep, "Appa." His heart melted as he couldn't move, so he laid beside her, pulling her in embrace, and Seol hugged him tightly, and he smiled as he looked at Jungkook and pulled him closer, kissing his head. I love you both, he mumbled, and Seol clutched him tightly. Appa. And he rocked her back gently. Appa is here only, baby, he whispered. She's done cleaning kitchen as she sighed tiredly. She felt like every inch of her body is hurting. She is still gathering courage as she walked in bedroom and saw a beautiful scene which she never imagined that she could ever see. Her two toddlers sleeping with his father while Jungkook also slept with them, making them sleep, and she smiled. She walked to them as she covered them with blanket and kissed Seol's and Jungkook's forehead. And she is about to kiss Jungkook's forehead, but something stopped her as she smiled and moved back. Cuties, she murmured, and she sighed and walked in the balcony. Few minutes later, Jungkook squeezed his eyes as he looked at clock and looked at the surrounding. And he looked at Seol as he gently put her head on pillow before getting up. He's about to walk, but he noticed door is locked, and he remembers he didn't lock the door. And when his gaze shifts to balcony, he saw Vine standing there, and he gulped the lump before walking there. Cold breeze touched to her body, sending goosebumps to her as she hugged herself, and when she felt something warm on her shoulder, she looks, it's Jungkook. It's cold outside, he said as he covered her completely with his blazer while Vine just watched him. He noticed her gaze on him as he looked at her, she looked away. I'm sorry, he said, and she looked at him. It's okay, it's not your fault, she said, stealing glances. Jungkook watched her for a while as he held her hand intertwining. She looked at him. How are you? He asked, and she gulped the lump as he kissed her cheeks. I'm okay. He smiled slightly as she looked at him nervously. How have you been? She asked, and he looked at her. Not so well without you. Very bad, he said, being honest, and she looked down, holding her tears. I'm sorry, she whispered, and Jungkook watched her for a while. You're stronger than me, Ryan. I thought I was. He blurted out, and she couldn't make eye contact with him. Jungkook had never wanted to. She speaks as she couldn't hold herself back, but he put fingers on her lips. Shh. He shushed her as her lips trembled with pain and tears were in her eyes. I'm not mad at you anymore, he said, and her tears light as he wiped her tears. I was mad until you were not in my sight. But when I saw you, I forget everything, every pain, he said, and she snapped. I will be the best father to all babies, I promise. I never step back from my responsibility. I will never throw my insecurities on them, no matter what, he said, and she sniffed sweetly. I was afraid to become the father, but when I see these two, I realize how it feels like to become parent. It's really overwhelming experience, man. Honestly, my body is still shaking. I can't believe on my eyes that they are really adorable, he said with so much emotion, and she smiled with tears. I told you, you will be the best father, she said, and he nodded. As he kissed her cheek gently with his thumb, thank you for taking care of my babies, especially my wife. Thank you for taking care of her, he said, and she closed her eyes. As she hugged him, and he felt a sting pain in his chest as he hugged her back, kissing her back. Thank you for being you always. Thank you for not hating me, she said, and he wiped his tears. Even if I try, I can't, he said with heavy throat, and she clutched him tightly, crying in his embrace. I regretted my every action, Jungkook. The decision was hard, but living it with it was hardest, she said, crying, and he controlled his emotions. I missed you so badly. I tried a million times to go back to you, but I had no courage to face you. She expressed her pain, and he felt his throat is hurting. She broke the hug and cupped his face. I missed you each and every day, since the day I left you, she said, crying mess, and his whole face turned red, holding his tears. I missed you so badly, she cried and his tears dropped. I survived without you. There is no hope for me to live, he finally speaks. I had everything Ryan, which I always wanted, but without you, I had nothing. It feels so incomplete and lifeless, he said with a heavy throat, and she cried more. I felt like too. She covered his mouth, shaking her head, and he hugged her tightly. I missed you so bad. They hugged each other like it's been ages they hugged each other. I always loved you, he mumbled. I love you too, she mumbled as she broke the hug and pressed her trembling lips on his forehead while he closed his eyes. I'm sorry, Jungkook shook his head as he kissed her head. I have complaints with you, but I'm not mad at you with you. I don't hate you, he said. You should, even I can't forgive myself for that. I wish I told you, he said, and he looked down. Fault is mine too that I couldn't give you a surety. Failed to win your trust, he said, and she hugged him. But your babies love you, especially Seol. She loves you a little extra, she said, and he smiled in pain. I know, he said, wiping his tears, and Jungkook kissed her forehead. Thank you for making sure that my babies don't hate me. She shook her head. They never can. They have really a good father, a best one. But you are the bestest mother, he said, closing his eyes. Don't leave me, she mumbled, and he pulled her closer. I will never. I will do everything to make my family happy. She smiled, wiping her tears.